Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of
Hello.
My name is Hans.
I'm Edward.
And we're your hosts for now and forevermore.
Or until Superman comes and whisks us away. Because
Well, I mean, I don't know how many people he's whisking away at once. Unless
both
maybe
of us,
it's like
okay?
Oh, you mean
Both of
just us?
Yes. Yes. I don't care about some other bitches.
Okay, cool. I'm happy with that. I'm glad if Superman decides to take me away.
Yeah.
Sorry for you, Lois. If you are new to Gettle, welcome to one of the internet's best repositories for gaming, entertainment, technology, and lifestyle, information, reviews, news, previews, and discussion. All wrapped up in a wonderful, geeky...
Burlap baggy.
Oh, that's a nice one, Edward.
Yeah.
Well done. I like that.
Cool.
I like that.
Thank
That's a
you.
good one. If you're one of our regular listeners, welcome back, Gettle Clan.
Some bitches.
Actually, one of you guys mentioned to us that there was actually a name.
Mm.
What were they? Was it Gettlefus? Gettlefis? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
I can't recall now. Oh my gosh, I
think
feel so bad
it was
now.
on
Well,
Google, on YouTube.
yeah, one of
Yeah.
you mentions or Gettleites, maybe.
But that's weird though.
Okay, that's a bit of anyway. Either way,
Yeah.
it's a bit better than bitches. So
Is it? I guess it is. It's a little bit more PG.
Well, that doesn't have to be PG. It's just nice in terms of, we actually have a name for the people who listen to what we spew on a weekly basis.
Mm. Gettle peeps.
Okay, we'll leave it up to you guys.
Bros.
For those of you who are listening, we'll obviously go back and have a look for the suggestions we've already received. And if you can think of anything else to our wonderful regular listeners, and even if you're new, by all means, hit us up.
Yeah.
Information is in the description of the podcast. Alternatively, you can reach out to Edward and myself on social media or the @Gettle Podcast Twitter /Instagram /Facebook page.
DMs are open for now.
Please like and subscribe. No.
Yeah, like, subscribe, give us all the ratings on
All right, so getting back on track
Yeah.
because we've already started digressing and we've only just started the episode. Edward, how
Yes.
has your week been?
It's been good, busy.
It has
Busy?
been a week.
Yeah, lots of announcements.
Actually, Edward is spot on. So although our previous episode was plagued with no internet and no power and so on and so forth, some of those problems have, of course, run into the new week because this is South Africa. Now, with that aside, there was WWDC, Worldwide Developers Conference, which is Apple's yearly conference for developers. It was, in my personal opinion, quite lackluster compared to previous years. But of course, this is because of COVID.
Mm.
So we know people have had to work from home. There's no crunch happening for the most part. And with that in mind, it was decent. They released some cool stuff. Some updates, iOS 15, so on and so forth.
All the betas.
We're not really going to speak about it just yet. Maybe wait a bit until they're actually released. Edward's busy with the betas at the moment, so he'll give us more feedback as time goes on. E3 has also officially started, so Edward and I are busy getting emails galore. All of our things are muted at the moment so that we can do this podcast.
Yes, actually muted this time for those of you who've been listening for a while.
And there's also been a lot of just events. So like there was a Summer Games Fest, WWDC as we've mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
There was a Battlefield 2042, whatever.
There was Elden Ring.
Ooh.
Finally.
I'm telling you, Edward he plutzed in his pants the moment that was announced.
Listen, it's been so long in the making. We've been teased to the death. I'm just so glad, it just finally we have some gameplay.
Well, given how George R. Martin's involved,
it might take.
Yeah. And it might never come to fruition. So at least this way, there's something. Right,
Anyway,
there's been a slight tease. Anyway,
how have you been?
Oh no, I've been okay.
Good.
Like,
good.
I mean, things are better than previous. let's just go with that.
Yeah.
So back into the swing of things.
Mhm.
This is Gettle episode 60.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2, episode 18.
Yep.
This maybe should have been a bit of a NSFW type thing, but we totally missed the ball. In our defense, it's been a very busy 2 weeks, because busy in the sense of either there was no internet or electricity, and E3.
Yeah.
And E3 is
That as
continuing
well.
for at least another week. So there's a lot of gaming news and stuff happening, which we may dedicate into a future episode, but we'll see how it goes. Edward. Something that I want to now begin with Giddle. And it's
Yeah.
something that I've been mulling about for a while, and you know this because we speak about it all the time. But to you, our listeners, we want to pose a question every week to you. And this week's question, and I'm sure if you're a regular listener, you'll know all about this because we've been speaking about disclosure for a while. And by that term, there could be a lot of context, but you should know if you've been listening.
It could go a couple of ways.
So, Edward, my question this week, or our question to those who are listening, but also to you, because I formulated it this week, is if extraterrestrials are behind the UAPs, which are unidentified aerial phenomena, that would technically mean that we're no longer the dominant species that we thought we were. All right, wait.
Okay.
So the question is to you, our dear listeners, and to you, Edward, my friend, how would you handle the impact and realization of the fact that there is something far superior to us out there?
Okay, let me get the troll out of my system for a second.
No, just give us the troll response and then give us your real one.
Well, green aliens with 3 titties. Every movie, every
so you're just like,
game.
Sign me up. Because...
Yeah. We've all seen the hentai. No, to be fair, I would be... like, immediately I'm thinking Arrival. That's the best science fiction movie I've seen in a long
100%,
time.
100% agree with you.
And obviously it would be something similar. We'd be like, should we blow them up? Should we translate the texts? Should we try to understand them?
What do they want? What do they mean us harm? Do they mean us, good?
Now, I do think, seeing as all of the disclosures are coming from the governments, especially the US government, the US military, I do think we might already have some understanding of what's going on and some languages, or they might.
That is actually something I didn't consider.
And in thinking that, I think if there ever would be some rollover, I guess, of, listen, we're opening into a galactic society now, I think it would be a slow and arduous process and one that would be contested by many people. Personally, I would be all for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I suppose from my perspective, like the question is, how would you handle something superior, like being known to us? Well, as a person of faith, I suppose, I really believe that there's something superior to us. Not necessarily that it's an alien force, but I mean, if aliens were to arrive, I mean, even putting faith aside, right? I think we have to be terribly ignorant and also... the word is, it's just slipping my tongue. You'd have to be
careful.
No, oh my gosh!
Don't worry, I know how that feels. It's been happening a lot.
Narcissistic. There we go. That's the word. Thank you.
Yeah.
You'd have to be naive and narcissistic enough to believe that we're the only intelligent life in the universe of billions and billions of stars.
Yeah.
All right. So I already believe, to me at least personally, that there is other intelligent life out there, and there's a very good chance that they are far more advanced than us. So perhaps what I would go with is, yes, we would, as an entire race, have to come together and decide. I know where you're going with that. We'd have to decide whether or not, they mean us harm, or if they're of a benevolent nature. Now, of course, Hollywood has always said that even if they're benevolent, they're not really.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's always like, are they not?
So I have a really big conspiracy theory behind that. I don't know. Would you like us to discuss it now?
I'm all for the conspiracy.
This is not where we were heading with Get Old,
it's
by
fine.
the way.
Let us go into this. I'm all for it.
So we all know about COVID, and please understand, everything we're going to say now is pure, just fun speculation, conspiracy. There's no fact behind this. If you've listened to us, you know that Edward and I believe in science above pretty much everything else in terms of where did COVID come from and so on and so forth. And with the alien disclosure happening, the proof is that there are UAPs out there.
Yeah.
Are they extraterrestrial or are they man-made? Well, according to most governments, they're definitely not man-made, which is why so many governments are now disclosing the fact that these exist. Now, there's actually two theories about that. So one of the theories about that is, and again, all conspiracy, is that the Chinese people in government have made massive advances in technology over the last couple of decades to the point where they're rivaling, if not superseding, other world powers. As a result, it stands to reason that they have already picked up on these UAPs and they are potentially forcing the other first world nations to reveal it, otherwise they're going to do it.
Yeah, like a little bit of corporate espionage type thing.
Yes, and of course, bear in mind, this is not because it would benefit the world. This is just China's own self-interest.
Yeah, like,
being like, you should do this, and if you don't do this...
Like, we have the power now. We have the info.
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So that's the one part of it. The other very, very, very conspiracy theory part is how COVID was man-made. There's obviously no direct evidence to that just yet, although some scientists they want a more detailed look into it.
Yeah, they're actually like doing investigations now.
Correct. So this other one is about how, because it was man-made and released into the human populace, that, all the countries around the world effectively had to start working together. And, we all followed very similar protocols of like lockdowns, and now there's debate of vaccine passports, and everybody kind of came together with billions and billions of dollars to develop vaccines and so on and so forth, that it was almost like a precursor to full alien reveal, seeing how the world would work if there was one single thing we all had to fight against. And for the most part, if you believe that to be true, it worked, because the rest of the world did come together. Scientists from everywhere, came together to help develop the vaccine. It's why it was developed so fast. Funding came from all sorts of places.
All of a sudden.
Yes. So, and then also, it proved how citizens listened to their governments. Most stayed home wherever they're possible, the lockdowns and so on and so forth. So who's to say that maybe this wasn't a grand test by the Illuminati for the real disclosure of the fact that we are not alone and that there is an advanced civilization, and we don't know if they mean us harm or good.
See, and even that can go both ways now, the benevolent or not. Because maybe, sure, it was all about disclosure, all about seeing how we react. But what if they are like aggressive type aliens, okay? And they're like, no, you got to stay inside. There are curfews in place.
Yes.
This was also, that proved that as well.
100%. So again, understand, this is just with thumb sucking. It's just for fun.
Yeah.
This is just a
hypothesis Hollywood shit.
based on the initial question that we posed to you as our audience and to ourselves. And we'd love for you to tell us what you think. Could it possibly have been? Is it in the realm of possibility? Or is this total flat earther anti-vax nonsense?
Maybe a little bit, but maybe not. There are always fire where smoke comes from, or something like
smoke where there's fire.
There we go. Okay.
Well, do you know what is also still up for debate, but
Yeah.
a little bit more accurate, is Pikachu's power level.
Okay, I remember. Yeah.
So for those of you who remember last week's episode 59, we spoke about Pikachu and how game and film theory did the most intense research in terms of finding out what Pikachu's actual level is, and we hypothesized, it's got to be high.
Yeah, like max
come
level.
on, Ash might still be a prepubescent. I said peasant, but you all know where. You know where I was going with that.
He might be.
I mean, he's 10 forever, right?
Yeah.
So, but he's had a lot of battles, and Pikachu's been with him through about 13 movies and I think also 13 seasons or 15 seasons.
Many
it's a
more,
lot. It's a lot. It's
over
over 600 episodes of Pokemon. Anyway, Matt Pat from Game Theory, he did a fantastic 2-part episode about this, and he did finally reveal what, according to his calculations, Pikachu's level is. And Edward, do you have an idea this week?
Is it a definitive answer this time, unlike last time?
So last week, when we discussed it, and in the first part of his video, he was alluding to the fact that he had a figure in mind.
Okay.
But it was all about how he got there. Now, of course, it might not be 100% accurate.
Yeah,
but given his methodology, I would say this is probably the most accurate answer we're going to get.
Well, I'm sticking with what I said last week. I think it's still very high, still probably max. You
mean
know,
100?
yeah,
Because 100 is the max for
Yeah.
Pokemon. Yeah.
knowing Ash, it's probably not because he hasn't even caught all Pokemon yet.
So Matt Pat he did such an excellent job of going through it and like the soft reboots for the series and how, you know, when you play new games, the EXP resets and so on and so forth. And he accounted for a lot of that, and also Team Rocket. And it is so well worth watching that I almost don't want to give you the answer. I want you all to go and listen and to watch, because he deserves those views. It's just such an exceptional video. But of course, I'm going to talk about it anyway because I can't leave y'all hanging.
Give us a spoiler.
It is. Are you ready?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah. Let me not have
not 69, which is what I was hoping. Anyway, it is actually it's 61. That is the worked out power level for Pikachu in the current latest episode of Pokemon.
That's not so bad.
It's not high at all.
But it's not low.
Well, I mean,
because see, I was thinking like, sure, okay, maybe we've said he must be max level, okay?
Yeah.
But then again, Ash hasn't used Pikachu all that much. He's been using his Geodude. I think he has a Geodude even. I don't even know. And he's been using Lapras and Magikarp and all these other Pokemon. He has a Bulbasaur. He had a Charmander, which became a Charizard, and he doesn't anymore, I believe. Anyway.
Charizard was let go ages ago.
Yeah, so I've been thinking maybe Pikachu didn't get all those EXP because obviously he wasn't being used.
Look.
So
watch the videos. So I don't want to talk too much about the video because it deserves to be watched.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things that you're bringing up have been he speaks about.
Okay.
He literally talks about how in certain seasons, you know, Ash uses different Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then Pikachu takes a back seat. And then there are some seasons where Pikachu's in the front. And it's excellent. If you want to know how he gets to that figure, I implore you, our listeners, to go and watch both parts of the video. I'll obviously link the second part, which is the reveal of the power level in this episode.
Yeah.
But really, go give them like and subscribes, because the amount of work that went into this, it's phenomenal, to be perfectly honest with you.
The thing is, the Theorist channel, they've always done great work.
But also, thank you again to Tegan from Australia. You sent this in originally, and now we've spanned it over 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Just like Game Theory did.
Yes. We might go more.
Maybe. Now, I know that he's done other stuff, because remember we spoke about how Giovanni could possibly be Ash's father, right?
Yes.
But then also there's that whole thing of how Ash never ages. So now I have to wonder, is the kid ever going to reach puberty and know what it is to shave and have ingrown hairs?
Good question, Hans.
Well, here's hoping he never has to deal with it.
Yeah.
Because they're horrible.
They are so bad.
For those of you who are watching, and I'm very glad that the camera is not near to my face, I'm currently suffering from a 3 in my beard at the moment.
I mean, I'm near to your face, and I can't even see it. So.
Yeah, but Edward, in all fairness, you don't really see much.
True.
All right. So with this in mind, I came across this, I think it was a live pro tip or just something on Reddit. And it had to do with ingrown hairs. Because, I mean, let's be honest here. How often have you thought about, why the F am I even getting this? How is this typical bodily process of hair being grown resulting in
a mess?
Yes.
Yeah.
These like hard,
bumps,
red, painful pustules that you have to sometimes squeeze out like monster hair.
Literally, like tusks of hair.
Actually, what prompted this whole thing is I came across this video of this person with an ingrown hair where they literally pulled out, I think it was like a 40 centimeter long hair. Oh. And I was just like, how?
Okay, so I don't cringe often when I watch stuff, okay, but my entire body just went like this. Oh, gosh.
Anyway, so I did come across this very, very good Reddit response to why you get ingrown hairs. And I'll try and TLDR it for all of us.
Okay.
But essentially, the body is very good at healing the body in general, like your cells, from micro cuts. So, you know, like every day when you touch things, you're cutting your fingers and stuff. But like, it never really results in anything. Even a paper cut, like, it hurts like a bitch.
It burns and then it's gone.
But yes, it goes away.
Yeah.
Like maybe a day or two later, it's healed over, whatever the
Mm.
case is. So your body's very good at that. Now, these micro cuts also happen like in your mouth.
Mm.
Like every time you brush your teeth, you're actually cutting your gums.
That's why you
to an extent.
bleed. Yeah.
Yes. Or you can get infection rather. That's sort of where we're going with this. So generally, the immune system is very good at combating this and healing you and so on and so forth.
Mm.
However, there are times when the immune system cannot get to what it needs to in order to heal you.
Okay.
And the reason for this is because there's something called a biofilm. So I know that sounds a bit strange, but essentially it's just a biofilm is it's kind of like, if you look at a rock by a pond,
Yeah.
you know how there's sometimes that like very thin slippery layer
Algae.
on the rock, but you can't see it. No, but
No, that gooey layer.
Yes,
Yeah.
So that is biofilm.
Okay.
And essentially what biofilm does is it stops bacteria from being able to penetrate certain areas. But in so doing, it also stops the immune system. You see?
Because it goes both ways.
Yes. So generally, our skin and our blood and all the things that are in the human body allow for immune cells to pass through barriers.
Mm.
Unfortunately, they can't pass through a biofilm.
Oh.
Okay. And so what actually ends up happening is that if you, like, let's say you get that like scratch in your beard or whatever the case is,
Yeah.
right? Because hair technically is it's scratchy. What will sometimes happen is that a biofilm will form from the top in order to prevent additional bacteria from getting in.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's already bacteria in between the biofilm and the hair, and then the human cells can't get through the hair because it's technically a bit of another biofilm.
Like shielded in.
So that's technically what happens. That's technically, look, this is a very layman's term of what I'm trying to discuss here. But as a result, the bacteria formed biofilm cannot be penetrated by the human immune system. That's basically what they go with. And that's also why sometimes people who have like heart valve replacements in that will have issues because the actual scar tissue gets infected that way. And then even taking antibiotics can't help because they can't get through the biofilm.
That's cool.
So that's basically it. That's why you get ingrown hairs, y'all.
Yeah.
I wish I could give you solutions as to, because there's nothing you can do. I mean, often so you'll shave, right? And then bacteria will obviously go into maybe some of the follicles. Yes.
Yeah.
And then a biofilm will form, but because the bacteria is between the biofilm and the hair, there's nothing you can do about it. And then that's why it festers.
How quickly does it form?
Oh, it's quick. I mean, I shaved 2 days ago, and I have like 3. I can feel them. Yeah, 3 ingrown.
Wow.
I mean, they're not super bad, and I have noticed, sometimes depending on what you eat, it can make them worse or make them less, whatever the case is. But I have noticed that since switching to an electric razor, I get less than if I shave with a normal razor.
I guess it's the cuts.
Yes, well, no more so, I think, because what ends up happening is, so yes, you have the follicle, but when you're shaving, your body, especially if it sometimes pulls on the hairs and that, like it might pull them out if the razor's not sharp enough or whatever the case is, you then will sometimes bleed, right?
Yeah.
So then your immune system automatically tries to fight it. And then what happens is some bacteria has really got in, but then you're forming a biolayer over the top. You see? Okay. And then the hair that's growing from underneath, it's the whole thing. The whole thing. And of course, only y'all who be shaven were maybe born in the 80s. And if you were born in the 80s, you would know about the SNES.
The SNES. Well, today you'd know about the SNES Classic.
Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
That's it. The SNES Classic. It's an ancient system. What Hans is getting at, I don't know.
It was before me as well.
It is ancient.
Yeah.
It's before me.
Look, essentially what we're getting at is Edward played something called the Capcom Arcade Stadium.
And
it's a wonderful collection of Capcom classics.
Which is even older.
Right? From like 70s, 80s, right?
So
like really...
74 plus. From 1974 and up.
Wow, that's really old then.
Now the version I played, it was the launch version. It contained 3 packages of games released in different eras. Now, 1974, starting with 1974 to I think 84, and so on.
That's right. It goes all the way to 2004.
Yes, all the way to 2000. Basically, all the arcades, even box arcade machines, it included those. And the game is decent. It's a good game for people looking for that kind of thing.
I mean, my understanding, because we'll obviously link to your review, is it's very nostalgia driven.
Yes,
right. Because gameplay hasn't been adapted. It's really just taking these really old titles and throwing them into a newish package. Yeah,
it's literally just emulating old games. So much so that they even emulated the experience of playing a box, the actual machine.
Playing in an actual arcade.
Yes. So if you launch up the game on the screen, you'll actually have the frame of the arcade machine around you. You'll have the buttons before you, and as you press your controller, the buttons on the screen actually press down as well.
Awesome.
So it's that kind of thing. It's nostalgia heavy. It's all nostalgia.
So is it worth it? Average, good, exceptional?
To me, it's good. It's decent game.
Yeah.
It played well. It didn't crash. It actually did what it needed to do, and I enjoyed the few games that I played.
Yes.
I think someone looking for this kind of thing, someone who grew up in that era, they'll love this. Exceptional game. New gamers, they'll have no interest at all.
Well, unless they want to go back and see what their parents
Maybe.
played. Or...
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Now, a newer game that you have played, right? MotoGP 21?
Yes, that's brand new. It's amazing game. It's so good. It's essentially just MotoGP 20, or I actually reviewed MotoGP 19 because we didn't get 20 for review. COVID and all. And it's literally the same game, just brand new graphics. This one is actually made... it's a cross-generation game, so you can play it on PS4, Xbox One, and PS5, Xbox Series X, and so on. But it's actually made with assets for the new generations. So it looks beautiful, phenomenal. Obviously, next year's will probably be current gen only. This year, though, they made it easy for newbies to come into the scene, because simulation titles, they tend to be...
Or good or bad.
Good or bad. But they tend to be very, very challenging to come into if you're new. Especially if you don't know anything about bikes, I guess.
That's me.
Yeah, so they have a full-on tutorial this time, which marches you through the entire management process, building the bike process, all that. And they also went all in on a new AI called Anna, which is an abbreviation for something I don't know, I don't recall. And I feel it actually made a huge difference, and I like the game a lot.
So good.
Good. It's good. It's not exceptional, but simply because there are better alternatives out there. Which is Isle of Man 2, is still the best simulation game I've played.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Now, of course, as all you know, something you shouldn't do is drink and drive.
Yes,
hey,
you shouldn't.
That actually, I know it was meant to be a segue, but that's like a legit...
That sounded like you were singling me out as well.
Like, don't drink and drive, y'all. Don't drink and drive.
Don't.
Now, with Drink on the Mind, since I brought it up, because this is the segue that I'm planning, Edward played a game called Dude, Where's My Beer?
Where is Hans?
I don't drink beer. If it was whiskey, I would be totally on board with this.
Oh, I drink Heineken. Anyway, so it's an amazing game.
Is it?
It's so good. It's so good.
Not exceptional?
No, it ends too abruptly for it to be exceptional.
It is an indie title.
Yes.
And it's point and click, which I personally love because I grew up with them. I mean, Loom, Monkey Island, Myst, all of these incredible... Wow, I'm really giving my age away for those kinds of like really old games. Leisure Suit Larry, all of the early
Oh, you
ones.
shouldn't have grown up with that one. But yes, we all grew up with Leisure Suit Larry.
So I'm genuinely interested in this game, actually. And I do think that I will probably play it after...
You might like it.
Well, tell us a little bit more.
So Dude, Where's My Beer? It's actually a satirical take on point-and-click adventure games.
It makes it even better.
It's essentially Leisure Suit Larry PG, I guess. It's... Okay, so the premise, let me go. It's called Dude, Where's My Beer? So you are this guy, as we all know, the world is changing. We're all doing craft beers now and drinking
everyone in
fancy hop. I forgot the word, but fancy brews. Okay,
you haven't made a beer.
Why?
I don't know. I just figured you would.
Because I'm that kind of guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might still.
Listen, you've got the beard for it. Might as well.
Okay, for those in South Africa, a good 9 Inch Nails. So good. Anyway, 9 Inch Ale. Sorry, it's 9 Inch Ale.
I was a bit like, I'm glad you even added anything after 9 Inch because I didn't know where you were going with that.
Well, 9 Inch Nail is the band.
Yes, I know.
That's a good craft beer if you are local. Anyway, in this world, this guy is a simple guy. He's a dude who just wants to drink a Pilsner, just a basic old school Pilsner. But he can't find it. No bar has it in stock because they all have these craft beers. So
so he wants generic mass produced.
Just a basic Heineken, man.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. So like you enjoy Heineken. So it's like you going to different bars looking for your Heineken, but all people have are like Red Apple Deluxe.
Yeah,
and like
the Jack White and the 9 Inch Ales. That's all they have.
Okay.
So it's about this guy going from bar to bar, getting through a puzzle or two, getting to the bar and finding out if they have his Pilsner. And that's literally it. You can sample the different craft beers, get intoxicated.
Of course.
I have a few qualms with the game, though.
Okay.
Which is, number one, the intoxication meter seems to be either inaccurate or unfinished. Okay.
I mean, it is an indie title.
Not that, though. As you carry on with the game, it's number one, it's a linear title. It's not open like many of the point and clicks tended to be or still are, like Chicken Police, phenomenal.
It's a point and click game.
Sorry?
It's a point and click.
Yes, it's mostly point and click.
I'm gonna have to play that as well then. I love point. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, it's point and click meets visual novel.
See, that's it. I kept having visual novels stuck in my head. But okay, anyway.
No, this is more point.
Because I know we've spoken about that in a previous episode, just in case you're a new listener.
Yes. Yeah. So, as you pass through bar to bar, you can't really explore. Exploration is pretty much off the roster. And you'll get to one puzzle, and then you'll be like, "What do I need to do?" Pretty much your whole experience will be that puzzle until you finish it. That's how linear it is. And to solve some puzzles, you need to be intoxicated or less intoxicated. So if you drank too much craft beer, the game will tell you like, no, you can't do this now. Okay, and then you have to sober up and come back. The reason I think it's unfinished is because you can't max it out. You simply cannot.
You can't max out the intoxication counter.
Yeah. The drunkenness.
So you obviously tried to drink as much as possible.
Obviously I did. I want to see what's going to happen. And then at the end.
That's gamer logic 101.
And then at the very end, the game ends. Okay? It just ends.
Oh.
Like.
Did he get his beer?
He might have.
Okay.
I'm not going to spoil that.
Okay.
I mean, that's. Anyway, the ending literally says, keep a lookout for number 2 or a sequel. I forgot the exact wording now.
Maybe an expansion?
It's a sequel bait ending. And that's what I dislike.
So do you think it could be episodic then, perhaps?
I don't think it's going to be episodic. I think they're literally making a number 2. It sounded like.
Okay, well,
it's like 4 hours, not even.
It's short then.
It's super short.
It is an indie title,
yes.
so let's give them.
So
a
I
little
do
bit of credit,
appreciate that, and that's why I didn't nitpick the game as much in my review. If you'll read it, it's a good game. There are a few things I dislike, and I mentioned that, and then other than that, the game is good. I think you'll like it.
Look, I'm keen.
Yeah,
I am keen. I want to. I mean, now that I've heard about it a bit more,
yeah.
I'll obviously go and finish editing your review for publication. By the time this airs, it will be up.
Yeah, it will be. It's a decent game.
Well, look, do you know what I am actually keen on? And unfortunately, I don't have a Windows PC to try, which is why I'm hoping that you will, and you, our lovely listeners / watchers. And that is the Titanic experience. I don't know if you heard about it, Ed.
I actually haven't. No.
Okay, so again, indie developers. I tried to find some more information about them. It seems like the website was recently updated in the week. From the time that I added the link for Gettle versus actually doing Gettle. And so the information is no longer there for some reason. So unfortunately, I can't speak about who the developers are. But what I will do is I will link to the experience, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's called Titanic Experience. It is based on Unreal Engine 5, from as far as I can tell. It might be 4, but I do think it's 5. And what they've done is they've created a 1-to-1 scale replica of the Titanic that you can explore at your leisure.
In VR.
If you have a VR-enabled computer, sure.
That's dope. That's cool.
Look, I've looked at it a little bit and it just looks phenomenal. I'm talking about photorealistic visuals. It feels like, I mean, Titanic the movie came out years ago.
Oh, like 20 years ago.
Yes, yes, about 20 years ago. And if you, at the time, even today actually, it features such superb CGI that sometimes you can't tell what is not real and what is practical effect.
Yes.
Now, what is incredible about this Titanic Experience indie demo is this is rendered in real time. We are literally at that point of crossing the uncanny valley of photorealistic visuals rendered in real time on hardware you may have at home because of the latest Unreal Engine technologies.
That's amazing.
And it's absolutely, I've seen video of it, so it looks like a phenomenal experience. I would love to try it myself. I just don't have a Windows PC, unfortunately.
Well,
no.
one that can actually run it.
Well, one that can run it. I'd rather say that. Now, what's cool about it is, other than the fact that you can explore everything, apparently the developers have included little items that you can collect within the actual thing. And they're like the historical items. You can pick them up and you can read more about it. And,
like
things
the movie.
Like that. Okay, that was a movie convention. Okay, that doesn't exist.
Maybe it's there.
Because we all know Rose could have saved Jack. Just saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is phenomenal. And if you've got a Windows PC, go check it out. And then let us know what you think. If I want you to do it, Edward, actually.
I don't think my PC will handle it.
I think it can.
I'll definitely try. It sounds amazing.
I think you can. I personally think
I like Titanic and all things.
Well, who doesn't, right? Yeah. I mean, it's James Cameron, one of his best films.
Yeah.
You know, Avatar, nobody knows what's happening with Avatar anymore. But Titanic lives on. Okay, we're not going to do it. It's not even NSFW section either.
Yeah.
Now, this is something I saw that you threw in.
Yeah.
And it has to do with, I wonder if the people who were trying to fight for their lives came into contact with mermaids.
Maybe they did. Just a little tidbit I found. I actually found a news piece, okay? But I wanted to speak about this because this fascinates me. In Jamaica, the town called St. Catherine, they believe mermaids are real.
Look, but I would say a lot of places believe mermaids are real.
Maybe. It's just this. It's literally folklore to the extent that they think it's as much as real as us going outside and saying, "Oh, it's cold out." That's how firmly they believe.
Well, I mean, you're saying this is a Jamaican.
Yes, this particular instance.
Right?
Yes.
Well, I mean, okay. Before I sidetrack this argument,
yeah,
would you want to tell us anything more about it?
Yeah. So they think that mermaids are essentially bitches, okay, and not the term that they are female, more in the term of they are actually evil spirits who cause accidents and create deaths on land and then subsequently into the ocean, because obviously the town it's a coastal town. So what spurred this news post that I found on is one woman, she crashed her car and the car she died, and subsequently the car fell into the ocean. Many locals believe that it was this evil, this mean mermaid spirit caused it. And it's a tiny piece I found.
So kind of like the mermaids feed off of your energy,
maybe,
and then make you crash so they can eat your soul.
I would love that. It sounds amazing, but it more just sounds like they just like to be.
And basically, just made an ocean vampire. I mean, that's what this sounds like.
An ocean vampire, actually,
in a way, right? I mean, think about it.
I would love an ocean vampire.
So where I was actually going just now,
yeah.
when you were saying like folklore and whatever, Jamaica, like we have the Tokoloshi in South Africa.
We do,
which is also our like folklore little creature who, if
little
you don't
goblin.
put your bed on bricks, will eat you or it kill you. I'm not sure.
I've heard many different takes. Many that are very rated are But
What?
yeah, the Tokoloshi is apparently
A horny
evil
little bastard.
Yeah.
Okay, now that's news to me because I just thought that he would like
Eat you.
not like tickle your feet and eat your toes. I didn't
Maybe
know he
he'll
was
eat your
pumping
toe.
you in your sleep. That's terrible.
No, he does everything
No
bad.
wonder he's so
everything evil.
feared.
It's an evil spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow. Okay, I learned something
entity,
new.
not spirits.
Yeah, an entity.
Yeah.
'Cause-
A demonic little thing.
Well, bringing it back to mermaids.
Yeah.
And of course, the mermaids that live in the ocean, or your ones that apparently don't. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. It's just cool. It's cool that people think that.
Now, with oceans,
Yeah.
'cause this is where I want to go with this.
Mhm.
We know that there is a problem with lithium in the world today, whereby our primary sources of lithium are mined from land,
Yeah.
and lithium is used for batteries.
Yes.
In almost all modern day batteries, all of our modern devices have lithium powered batteries because that's just the tech we have at the moment, and even newer tech still is lithium based, just more efficient.
Yes.
All right. So apparently, our lithium resources are finite, as is the case, I guess, for natural resources.
Most things we mine.
Yes, correct. And we're allegedly going to run out in 2080, apparently, 2084, something like that. And of course, China is stockpiling all the lithium as we speak.
Yep.
Well, scientists have developed a means of extracting lithium from ocean water.
See, that fascinates me. How? First thing.
Okay. So apparently the ocean contains about 5,000 times more lithium than land, which I was just like, how is that even a thing?
Well,
I mean, 5,000, okay. Maybe we know there's more water than there is land.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But 5,000 times more lithium than land? I mean,
okay.
That's incredible. Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
Before we get too happy or too into that, it's 5,000 times more lithium than land, but in extremely low concentration. So it's basically only 0.2 parts per million. Okay, which now again doesn't sound like much, but it is, given how expansive the ocean is.
Yes.
Okay. So essentially, ocean water has a lot of minerals and salts in it, as we know. Anyone who's swam in the ocean or has tasted sea salt will know.
Yes.
And it includes things like sodium, magnesium, and potassium, which are also included at much higher concentrations than lithium.
Yes.
Okay, so we know this already. Previous researchers have done a lot into this. I mean, we often extract salts from the ocean this way in any case. And also desalination. That's how you take ocean water and you make it drinkable. And that's basically by removing all of this stuff from the ocean water, basically.
Okay.
Now, previous researchers tried removing lithium in a very similar way to the way that they remove salts, but it just has never been successful. However, there has been a breakthrough, and that has to do with something called an electrochemical cell containing a ceramic membrane made from lithium lanthanum titanium oxide, LLTO for short. And what that is, it's basically a crystal structure which contains a whole lot of holes which are just wide enough to let lithium ions pass through while blocking all of the other metals and larger ions in the water.
So lithium is a tinier molecule than the rest.
It seems like it, yes. It does seem like it. And so what happens with this new tech and what they've done is essentially there's 3 compartments to it. So the first one is where the salt water actually flows into the central chamber. And that's where the positive lithium ions pass through that special membrane that we've just mentioned. And then what that does is when it passes through that, the membrane itself captures the ions and then it pushes those into another compartment, which has a buffer solution and a copper cathode coated with platinum and ruthenium. I don't know about any of these things, but this is apparently what it does.
It
and
sounds
then,
like...
But bear in mind, it's only capturing the positive lithium ions.
Okay, I was about to say.
Then the negative ions get passed through and they go into a third compartment containing sodium chloride solution and another platinum ruthenium anode. Anyway, basically...
Science talk.
This whole membrane process of coming and taking the ions and filtering them and so forth harvests lithium from seawater. And do you want to know what the best part about it is?
What?
it's super cost effective. You can harvest $5. I mean, sorry, 1 kilogram of lithium for only $5 of electricity. And then the most interesting thing about it is that it also harvests a lot of the other minerals from it. And in so doing, the things like the hydrogen and stuff that come from the rest of the process actually offset the cost of the electricity.
So that's cool.
Okay, no, I don't know. Like, I think it's cool that scientists have thought of another way to harvest
the earth.
I think it's dangerous that we're now mining the ocean.
The ocean.
I mean, already the fish can barely survive as is. Now you mean to tell me that we're gonna I mean, like, I know we're taking lithium from the ocean water, but who's to say that on some level these ions aren't doing something for the ocean life? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, it's all easy to say we do this, but I mean, I don't think ocean water is infinite.
Maybe maybe ocean water is a huge battery for some kaiju living underneath.
And then as we take from it, it's going to awaken.
Yeah. Like, this is like, I know this sounds like a joke, but I'm genuinely concerned. Like,
Look,
gosh.
It's just an interesting thing because they talk about how this entire process also allows for fresh water. And, the world is running out of fresh water. Thanks, Nestle. No, please note the sarcasm. I don't know. I just worry though. I feel we're already doing so badly, and we know the ocean is super. It's super important.
Yeah, it's limited.
So now to start taking from it. I mean, I know we have a wonderful ecological system with rain, and that's meant to replenish and so on and so forth. But I think when we start messing with the composition.
It might change.
Yes, I feel we're because I stand to be corrected. And if anybody out there is listening and you know more than I do about this, I mean, if we're now harvesting these minerals from this and now using the water, how does it ever get replenished?
Yeah.
Is the ocean really that vast and expansive that it is consistently replenishable? I mean, I just feel that this is not exactly, it's not a permanent solution. And it might just damage the oceans even more than we already are.
See, that's the thing. If you scoop up the ocean, okay, and you make something of that water, let's say you clean the sodium out of it, you get some salt, what, and you scoop it up, and that's it. That bit of the ocean is gone. But if you actually go into the ocean and literally sap some of its nutrients or whatever this is, that's literally removing a part of it in a fundamental way.
Yes.
And that's scary.
Look, at least that's how it feels,
yeah.
Right? So, I mean, if anybody knows anymore, let us know. The actual alert about this was not, it didn't go into these kinds of questions.
Yeah, of course.
It just goes into the process of the fact that they can do this, but, I want to know more about the ecological impact of doing something like this, which I feel is often so overlooked, and if this is truly renewable, and let's assume it doesn't have real negative impact, then great. Then awesome. Let's do it. Let's harvest lithium this way.
Yeah. My mind just says that something else will replace that now. Let's say even more sodium or whatever. Something's got to give.
I want to know, where did the lithium come from in the first place within the ocean waters?
Yeah.
If it's really, okay, fine. I know we harvest lithium from the ground.
Yeah,
but could that maybe not be it? Are they maybe, look, if that's the case, if let's say there are massive lithium stores so many kilometers below the sea level that we don't know about, and that's what releases it into the ocean, then you can be like, okay, I get it, because then that means it's renewable, because that's a natural process.
Yes.
I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what happens, I suppose.
There's a reason why all the rich people want to get off this planet now. They're all gearing towards going to Mars. So
you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. Well, look, with the ocean on the mind and, the land that we've spoken about now, something else that we came across that was really cool this week is Nvidia has this very cool AI. It's called the Nvidia, I want to say GauGAN, but that's very Afrikaans, South African. It's probably the GauGAN.
Yeah. It's like Gauss and then GAN.
Yeah. So the Nvidia GauGAN Beta, it's this new AI, and what it does is it has been given sort of millions and millions of data points to do with images of the Earth, whether it's water, oceans, land, plants, whatever you name it. And then what this AI does is it allows you to effectively draw a landscape from random options on the left side of the screen. So like, let's say you want to make that a piece of land. So you'll tap land, you can select the kind of land you want, and you just randomly draw a scribble.
Yeah.
Then what the AI does is it takes your brand new, awesome, super basic work of art and turns it into a beautiful representation of what it thinks you were trying to draw.
Yeah, with using actual photos and
Yes.
machine learning and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the results can be incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. So more so, this is just a cool thing. You know, go and check it out. Have a look. See what kind of vistas that you can procedurally generate. But also, it's a very, very cool showcase of how possibly in the future, AI will be intelligent enough to interpret what you mean and then give you the result you want with minimal input. Because isn't that technically what we want from AI?
Yeah.
To know what I'm thinking before I'm thinking it.
See, instead of clicking land or ocean or tree, okay, on this thing, I wanted to know that if I use the brown color, it knows I'm drawing ground.
Yes.
That's what we want, and I think that's what we're moving into.
I mean, I would imagine eventually.
Yeah.
You know?
It's going to learn like, because every time you click land, you get a brown brush.
Yes.
So obviously,
I think that is where it's going.
Yeah.
You know, either way, it's very cool. Go check it out. Cool. If you end up making an awesome masterpiece, send it through.
Yes.
I'd love to see it.
Please do. Even if it's a dick pic. Just send it.
Oh, I don't know how that's going to work. Now you made me curious. Now I want to just draw one anyway.
That's the first thing I wanted to do.
It would probably make a penis-shaped island or something.
I'll just use stones. And anyway,
rocks for the nads. And anyway.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, we're not at the NSFW section.
Yeah.
Thanks, Edward.
It is quite smart, though.
Oh, well, where we are, though, about smart things has to do with crows. Intelligent crows, actually. Specifically from the South Pacific Islands. So this was just a very cool little research topic that we came across, and it has to do with, again, like we already know crows are intelligent. We've discussed them, I think, a few times in the past from other studies, and I think how, I think it was a crow, or it might be a different bird, which almost had an intelligence level of like a 3-year-old human, if I stand to be corrected.
I think you mentioned that, and it was a crow. If I remember.
It was something to that effect. Anyway, there's this journal called Nature Scientific Reports. And what they've done is they've found these incredibly intelligent crows in New Caledonia. And they obviously knew about previous crow research, and they wanted to see, you know, what these crows, how they would respond to certain stimuli. So what they did is they actually created crow vending machines. Now, I know that it's not like the vending machine per se that we are attuned to, but the concept remains the same. So what they did is they made these machines where if a crow tears a piece of paper and feeds it into the machine, they would get a reward. And so what they did with this whole process is they initially started off basic, just like feed us any paper you can find. Now, bear in mind, this is in the middle of a forest. So these things are designed specifically where these wild animals see this cage or whatever, fly up to it and then investigate and are curious to know about it. And they all quickly learned how feeding the paper that was in the hook, whatever, into the thing would give them a reward. So then what they did is they took that and they started to adapt the process. And now what they did is they made it whereby the crow had to tear a particular size of paper to feed it into the machine to get the treat. And what they found is that instinctively, over 50% of the birds that did it just did it. They just knew to tear the piece because they could judge that the hole was smaller than the actual piece of paper that they found.
That's cool.
It gets even better than that.
Yeah.
Then what they did is now the scientists were like, well, do the birds remember? So what they then did is instead of, so initially they sort of like progressed them on like this whole thing of big, small, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then they tested the memory by redoing the study, but this time without any,
visual
before and after. Just paper in the thing, and then a certain size hole. That was it. And instinctively, they would go and they would tear the shape that was needed and put it in. And it's just the most fascinating study because it looks at intelligence in these animals
Mm.
and, their memory. And in so doing, they're, I think, weirdly enough, possibly going to be using this for AI, I think, at a later stage.
Mm.
But either way, it's just incredible to see
That's-
how much we how little we know about the animals that are in the world today.
That's super cool.
Hey?
Like, that means I'm going off on a weird tangent now, but what if they're done with these tests? These crows are going to come back and want their snacky snack and see the machine is gone.
Yeah.
So now they can't get any food anymore.
Well,
now
I
they're
mean,
going to starve to death.
no, that was just like a treat or whatever the case is. I mean, I think that, well, let's go with this. Let's go with the assumption that they're intelligent enough to know that this is temporary.
I guess, yeah, to be fair, if they know...
I mean, bear in mind, this was something that one day just popped up.
Yeah.
And then disappeared for a while, and then came back again, and they all remembered how to tear the paper, you see?
Okay, that's true.
That's more so, I think, what they were testing. But it's just incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, they're super intelligent birds, Now, something else that's incredible.
Yes.
Ed, and this is recent, and it alludes to WWDC that we spoke about earlier in the episode, is Apple's spatial audio.
Yeah.
Y'all, it is amazing.
It pretty much. It's so what it is essentially Apple's new mastering format in using Dolby Atmos. So what happens is that they partner with studios such as Square and Warner, and new artists who decide to master their albums in Dolby Atmos with spatial audio, or the other way around, essentially allow Apple Music users to get the sound stage of an open back headset on a closed back headset, or pretty much any headset.
Yeah.
And it truly sounds phenomenal.
Look, I had heard about it
Mm-hmm.
and didn't expect much, truthfully. But my goodness, has it made my AirPods Pro and AirPods Max excel?
Yeah.
I mean, Edward has listened to it now with the Maxes that I'm wearing at the moment as we record this. And it's just the most incredible experience. So what Apple have done is they've created a lot of playlists with specifically for spatial audio mastered in Dolby Digital. Dolby Atmos. And some of the intro tracks go through, this is how you've listened to music before in mono. And then this is how you currently listen to music in stereo. And then they're like, but this is the spatial audio remixed or remastered with Dolby Atmos. And all of a sudden, it just opens up. And I wish I could do the effect for our podcast, actually.
That would be cool.
I have no idea how to, but it's just the most incredible sound. Now, understandably, it's not it is lossless, but it's not high def, because apparently that can't happen through wireless communication just yet.
So essentially, high def lossless is like 1 megabit a second songs. You can't do that via wireless. You need hardware for that.
We'll just need updated hardware.
Yeah, and then you do get normal, at least the new Apple lossless, which is a tiny bit lossy, but not. It sounds pretty much lossless. In a sense, all spatial audio songs are lossless, but not all lossless songs are spatial audio.
Correct.
That's what the gist of it.
Look, it just sounds amazing.
It does.
So naturally, with this new tech on the mind, Edward and I were like, what geeky songs are there that we can actually listen to? Because, I mean, it's this new tech, fine, you have Lady Gaga and Billie Eilish and a whole lot of other people who have their songs. Brittany, where you at, yo? I need your music. Anyway.
Come on.
So we looked, and did we struggle? We actually only came across, I think it was 4, right? 4 or 5.
Look, there are a few, but the 4 we chose, of those 4, 3 of them come from one album.
Yeah, so that's not exactly a fair selection.
No, it was difficult.
It really was. So in particular, there are things. Okay, well, actually, I want to speak about the first 3. I don't.
Yes,
they're all like favorites of mine. So they're all. Is it Hans Zimmer?
John Williams.
John Williams. And Apple has the Imperial March from Star Wars, Hedwig's theme from Harry Potter, and then the Jurassic Park theme, all mastered in spatial audio with Dolby Atmos. And It is just, you have to experience it. If you have an Apple device, all right, I think is it device specific, or do you need the AirPods?
Both. No, it's device specific because you can force it on normal headphones.
Okay, ideally, if you have an AirPod and a new Apple device, I implore you to go and try this out. It is just, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, this is exceptional. And this makes my AirPods Maxes so worth it. So worth it.
I think this is what they were gearing towards to begin with.
Look, I'm personally hoping that they're going to allow true high def wirelessly. I believe Apple can do it. It seems strange to me that they would release these a year before releasing this and not have had high def on the mind.
Yeah, it makes sense, especially the cans. I mean, yeah.
Yes. Then again, who knows? Maybe some aliens got around and corrupted what they were trying to do.
Maybe some aliens
some pressure from the UK government.
Well, if anyone would know, maybe it would be Prince Phillip. The late Prince Phillip.
I know. I look at this and I'm just thinking to myself, so you mean to tell me all this disclosure is happening and then Prince Phillip dies? The conspiracy theory bells should be ringing about now.
Yeah, I found out the Royal Prince Phillip, rest his soul, was an extreme ufologist.
Unidentified aerial
UFO.
UFologist. Okay, it doesn't matter.
I wouldn't say apologist.
Oh, that sounds like an apology tour. Yeah. No. Okay, so fine. He's the royal ufologist.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay, tell me more.
So he had a huge interest in UFO phenomena.
Listen,
UPA.
Back to conspiracy theory. Everybody thinks the royal family are the reptilians.
No, that's the Zuck. I don't think.
The Zuck is an android.
Eh?
He's an android. Zuckerberg is an android.
No, he's a lizard person. he is a snaky snake, and all conjecture. Don't sue me.
Okay, so Prince Phillip, the royal ufologist.
Yeah.
Why? How do you know? Like.
Okay, so I found a few accounts.
Okay.
And then okay. So according to the 14 Times, it's basically the UFO magazine.
Okay.
Or no, it's a conspiracy magazine.
Okay. Somehow I don't think a conspiracy magazine is a good source for.
According to them, Prince Phillip allegedly spent decades. Now, I don't know how true this is, but he spent decades amassing a huge library of books related solely to UFO studies and UFO news and stuff. And another source, according to his former personal assistant's biography. Yeah. Okay, now this is what sold me. The late Duke actually regularly requested personal interviews with UFO witnesses. So I don't know why
that's not sus at all.
Exactly. That's anyway. Actually, I don't know why I haven't heard of this before.
Do you know what's cool about this?
What?
To be frank. I mean, who doesn't have
slight interest.
No, you see, this is people of power with an interest in UFOs. I mean, who else gets to summon?
Yeah,
imagine you anally probed, and then you get a message from Buckingham Palace. Hey, Prince Phillip wants to inquire about your probing.
Yeah, next time you're in the UK, please let us know.
No, you better come now while you're still fresh.
Well, then, yeah, I don't know what went down behind closed doors. It's fascinating. According to the same source, the belief Prince Philip's interests comes from his uncle, Lord Louis Mountbatten, who wrote
Louis Mountbatten.
Louis, yeah, Louis, who wrote an official report about a UFO landing in his Broadlands estate.
This is amazing. If this is legit, this is amazing.
Now I don't know about the official reports, but yeah, it's so cool.
And I see here both Charles and William are interested in UFOs.
Yes, turns out that Charles especially got it from.
Wow, that's so cool.
Obviously Harry isn't listed.
Please, Harry, yeah, we don't talk about that one.
Now, furthermore, Nick Pope, who is the head of the UFO Defense Intelligence Department thing, the MOD, it's actually been so challenging for this guy to keep things secret and keep things down low, because it's the department's job to essentially not disclose everything and anything. Now, Prince Charles, every time he tended to meddle in their affairs.
Oh, you see, it's because he knew. He knew that something was going on, and he wanted the info.
Exactly. Now, obviously, the royals, they don't have all the power. Now, this Nick Pope says that it was actually a challenge every time royal interest in UFOs came up, because it's difficult to keep certain documents disclosed and undisclosed, and to
because
keep the secret.
Do have power to an extent.
Yes, that they can move stuff around, they can call in favors.
Yeah.
People will just see, oh, Prince Charles, you go. And it's actually difficult because it's all intelligence, it's all defense stuff, obviously, and it's for the nation. And I find it so interesting.
Cool. I think this is amazing.
Yeah, so to know that Prince Charles and William and even maybe
the
Harry,
excommunicadoed one.
Yeah, maybe they all are privy to some stuff we aren't yet.
Maybe Diana knew what she shouldn't have known.
Maybe that's why stuff happened.
Yeah.
Again, all conjecture.
Now, moving on to something that is not that is not conjecture. It's based more on real world happenings, but is also fictional. It's a South African produced movie called I Am Girls.
Okay.
And it's a Netflix original, and it has to do with human trafficking, which is a very serious topic.
I thought it sounded familiar.
Yes, it's a very serious topic. It's awful. It's sad. Now, the movie itself is distinctly average. Now, I am generally not a fan of South African produced films. We spoke about Morphe in a previous episode, which is actually excellent, which is very, very good. Not exceptional, but very, very good. This movie, unfortunately, is average despite having the most profound subject material. And that is because in the way that it deals with it. So it's not, yes, it's a terrible thing to watch. You know, what happened to these poor girls. And it specifically deals with a period in the early 80s, just before the apartheid government handed over to the new ANC regime. And, it is all fictional, despite being based on some truths, because they do mention, I think it was 6 young girls that did actually disappear all those years ago. They're center and core to the film. But of course, what the film does is it takes some liberties whereby, one of these, young girls survived through to adulthood, and she takes her revenge. And the movie shows you who that is almost from the beginning, but then she's not the core focus of the film.
Okay, that's...
I know it sounds strange, right?
Yeah.
So the film actually follows Erica Vessels, and she's who plays the character Jodie Snyman, and she works in the Hawks police force, and she primarily looks into human trafficking. And so, as she goes through the whole process of looking into young girls disappearing and so on and so forth, she kind of gets into a bit of trouble because she's always doing things just outside of the scope of the law. And what that means is that then, evidence gets thrown out of court and, that kind of thing.
She's basically Jack Bauer.
I mean, I suppose that's true, to a degree. So although she's the main character, and although the film technically follows her and how she is following the leads to what happened to these young girls, the other part of the story technically follows Ntombizonke Bapai, right, who is portrayed by Hlubi Mboya. And she is the young woman who, in the retrospect of the movie, she was taken by a F.W. de Klerk-looking figure in Parliament who was running the human trafficking thing and sleeping with these young girls that are so young and selling them to the Saudis and so on and so forth. She escapes. and she has a. They do allude to a little bit of what happened to her through her life and so on, but she's not the focus of the film.
Okay.
All right, she's there, but she's not the focus. The reason why I mention this is because I felt it would have been a lot nicer to not let us know who it was, and then eventually reveal it as like a big surprise later on.
Yeah.
But the movie doesn't do that. The movie kind of just tells you from the get-go that that's her. And then what ends up happening is you then just end up watching it unfold instead of there being mystery as to who could it be that's enacting vigilante justice on these perpetrators of these young girls that disappeared so long ago. And in that respect, it's not bad, but it does lose a little bit of its, I don't want to say charm because of the subject material, but it loses a little bit of its like interest.
Mystery. It's
mystery. There we go. So intrigue, yes.
Yeah.
So it actually becomes a little boring. Like you kind of know everything already, and you're just like now just watching it play out. And there's of course a lot of other inaccuracies. Being South African, you watch this and you're like, that is so American because it doesn't happen like that in South Africa.
Hollywood.
Yeah, it's no really like these trucks that pull up, but then they're not designated, but they have the huge word forensics on the side. And
we don't have that.
We don't have that.
Yeah.
And then like they have these like modern Mercedes-Benz vans for like the police, and I'm just like, have y'all even seen what the police drive? Because they don't drive that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen maybe one BMW in the highway patrol, but that's it.
So there's a lot of things like that, which to me as a South African, it detracts from the believability of what's going on.
Yeah.
And that to me is sad, because it means that they pandered to an international audience instead of really showcasing what it's like. And that's the other interesting thing. They do showcase a lot of what it is like here. How dilapidated the police force is. How, the blinds are broken in most offices. They don't lock. They don't have running water. They show those kinds of things.
It's because they drive Mercedes-Benz.
Well, okay, maybe. We all know the government is corrupt and so on. So, it did, a lot of that detracts from it, but more so, like, the story is powerful. It showcases how human trafficking is still prevalent today and how more needs to be done to prevent young children from being pulled into these things and having their lives ruined, Because not all of them are going to be able to do what Ntombi did in this film, all right? Basically, whereby she comes out of her life of poverty and, makes something of herself by studying and becomes into a forensic scientist. And that's a very edge case scenario for a lot of these poor people. And when I say poor, I don't mean poor as in monetarily poor, but like, unfortunate what's happening to them, And it's a decent film. It's a decent watch. It's not one I would recommend, and not because of the subject material, just because I feel it could have been better.
Yeah.
It's very slow in parts, which doesn't need to be. It's, weirdly American in certain respects, and I guess maybe they were trying to go for an international audience here. The appeal, I don't know, but it's a decent film in terms of portraying how human trafficking is a problem and how it still needs to be looked at today. And maybe I feel a lot of films today or media are not covering it enough. They just don't.
It's too sad of a topic to cover.
Perhaps, I suppose.
People don't click on that.
Given how delicate the topic is, I guess the film does do a very decent job of showcasing. But it has a lot of tropes that it falls into and cliches, which are all Hollywood derived, I would imagine. And I would have preferred it to have been a little bit more authentic.
It lost its South African charm.
Yeah, so like it takes place in SA, but that's about it.
Yeah.
The rest of it is very Hollywood.
Too much even. To its detriment.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, we are now heading into NSFW, and I've just realized this is actually the worst. The worst kind of review to have before going into an NSFW section.
That's fine. Our listeners will understand.
Yeah, that was very poor. Poor on our part.
Honestly, I couldn't think of any other way to do it.
Well, we should move the review to a different part.
So just at the front, maybe.
Anyway, with that in mind,
yes.
awkward.
That was broken.
If I could find it. All right. Now, with that very depressing and apt topic,
yes,
because it should be spoken about.
Yeah,
we need awareness. With that aside, now, Edward, I do see here.
Yes.
That in order to be happy,
Mm-hmm.
you need to be pumping at least once a week.
At least.
At least.
Now, when I say at least, I really do mean
At
it
least.
makes no difference if you do it more.
Oh.
Yes. See, that's the point I'm getting at. Or what?
So 4 times a month is it for happiness?
For ultimate happiness, yes. So they say. So.
Is it okay? Wait, we're gonna get into it.
Yes. So in a 2015 study, in the Social Psychology and Personality Science Journal. Now that's a mouthful. Quite the pun.
Oh my god!
Ian Kerner, who is a sex therapist, explains that essentially that they have found that couples who at least go about it once a week are the happiest versus couples who don't do it that much. And when I say that much, I mean like maybe once a month, maybe twice a month.
You know, that is so true because a lot of the times time just goes.
Yes,
you know,
that's
you don't
one
even
of
think
the
about
points.
it. Yeah,
that's literally the reason why we forget or just let it slide is literally because
life happens.
Life happens. We have stuff going on, COVID, and now we have all of this ESCOM load shedding.
I kind of want to. I was.
Yeah.
when you said no electricity, I was kind of like that. Kind of spurs it on.
You'd think, but apparently not.
Well, I suppose. Well, to warm up. Why not?
I guess.
But you actually then again no, because you know why.
But then you're all gross.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to shower and then it's cold.
Yeah,
so you'd rather
if
just
you've
not
got
do
like
it.
a gas geyser, you can't shower at all. And, yeah, that's so.
Okay, yeah. So you are right.
And apparently the golden number seems to be at least once every 7 or so
every
days.
7-day rotation.
And they say there's couples they studied. Now I couldn't find the number of couples that they studied, but they did not report an increase in happiness when this number raised.
So you mean to tell me that even with more coitus,
yes,
the satisfaction doesn't
it
go up?
It remains the same. Yeah, I'm as happy with my partner as I am if we do it every, I don't know, Tuesday or Wednesday after Netflix night. Yes, that's literally the point of the study, and it's fascinating to me.
so
because
having a date night once a week might be a real thing.
It might be. You'd think that more would be better, you know. Obviously, up to a point.
I mean, yes, up to a point, I would imagine, because the thing is, we have discussed this before as well, and it's work.
Yeah,
and you know, people who have children, it's then finding the time.
Children and full-day jobs.
Yeah. So finding time then becomes really difficult.
That becomes the work.
There we go.
Yes.
You see. And then when you do, you're kind of like, is this going to be worth it?
Yeah, because let's just roll over and sleep.
No, which was...
Let's just roll over and do it the worm way. Or
the snaky snake.
The snaky snake. The lazy worm.
The lazy snake. The lazy snake.
But, so going on, Ian Kerner also explains that essentially it falls into relations essentially falls into 3 categories, which is recreational, which is just for fun.
Yeah.
Second is rational. It means just like I have a partner I need to keep happy. That's the rational side. And then third is procreative, obviously to make babies. Now they've also found that when one couple, let's say a newly married couple, a newlywed couple, they want to make babies now. If they focus on this single topic until they get the baby, happiness tends to go down, even if it's just once a week or twice.
Yeah,
a week.
But that's because the focus is not on pleasure. It's not on enjoyment. It's about
becomes an anxiety.
Not even that. It becomes work.
Yes.
Because now you're assigning a purpose.
Yes.
To it instead of just enjoying it, letting it happen.
Exactly. So the consensus or the conclusion of the paper is that essentially you should be mixing it up. If your goal is to get like 2 children within a year, maybe once or twice, just let your lady not take in all the sperm and enjoy it a little bit more.
No, rather if the goal is to have 2 babies, don't just talk about that every time you do it.
Yes, that's a good thing as well.
Do it when you feel like it, when it feels good, when you want
Yes,
to, and
yeah.
don't make it about that because
That's it.
Yeah.
And I just thought that's good to know because, like, so for all of you folks out there going, or no, rather for all of the ladies out there who's hearing from their partners, no, I needed more because we can be happy. Don't believe that.
It lies.
Yeah, if you want to do it once a week, that's more than fine.
Listen, most people don't do it once a week.
I know that's the sad part. Like life.
That's why you're not happy.
That's why you're not happy.
So hang on,
Don't look at me.
Hold on. Didn't we have the secret to happiness or something in our first season?
Something like that. I do remember vaguely.
So wouldn't this
fit into that? Maybe, or even discredit that or something. Yeah.
No, this is a separate thing entirely.
Yeah.
So I know you still have a little bit more to talk about here. Mm-hmm. Well, you basically done.
No,
actually.
That's that.
How does this link to self-pleasure? So we're talking about the act of fornication now.
Yes.
Okay. So which naturally then would be, for both parties are enjoying it and whatever the case is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering, where does self-pleasure fall in? Like, what if you do both?
See, I think that's entirely different now because we've spoken in the past that masturbation essentially is you should do that basically once a day. Was the consensus reached more recently? I think when it came to self-pleasure.
No, we just said that there was that thing that I read about where they were just like, just pleasure yourself at least once.
Yeah.
At least once a day. Just do something good for you at least once a day.
Yes. So I think this falls into that category. It's not the same. It's I think emotionally and basically emotionally, it's not the same category it falls into.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking because it's two together. Yes. So you're both satisfying aspects of each other and you're doing it together as an experience. So maybe but then again, what if you do both? So what if you're only with your partner once a week, but then the rest of the time you self-pleasure?
Yeah, just go at it. I think that's fine.
Is it?
Because it's different.
It's interesting. I'm curious now. I'm just genuinely curious. I know it's different. I know we established that.
No. But I mean, like
maybe even more happy.
Yeah, more healthy anyway. Like you're getting your exercise on.
You know what? No. You know what? You are right. It's the two together because obviously the act of the two together, the intercourse once a week is what makes everybody very happy. And then because you can't always expect your partner to be there all the time. And you have needs.
Yeah. Just
then it's okay.
Don't be afraid.
Because so essentially what the study proved, as far as I'm understanding, is that just once a week is all that's needed for happiness between couples.
Basically.
So then the rest of the time you just help yourself.
Yeah.
Unless you want to help yourself with each other.
Yeah, you can do it more. Nothing says you can't do it more.
Because it does say that you can do it more, but it doesn't increase the chances of
the relationship happiness.
Oh yeah. So that's it. Once every 7 days is all you need, and that's it. And any more than that, good for you.
Yeah. Yes. Go at it. I just found that interesting.
So if you don't have a significant other,
yes,
and you are alone,
yes,
and you are interested in something,
you can watch a website or two. I found a source of a bunch of links for specifically our LGBTQ community. I figured since it's Pride Month, I would Google do a bit of Googling because this isn't my usual thing. This is an eye-opening experience. There are much more websites out there who offer this kind of experience than you would think. Now,
so it's not just Xtube and Pornhub.
Not just those. It's actually much more. And
I think you're about to blow my mind.
Nah, maybe.
Okay,
so I found a list of 6 of more premium based, more. A while back we spoke about guilt-free porn.
Yes.
Now this is kind of like that. It's high quality, good.
And you know that they're being okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's being curated constantly, and most of these are actually paid for. There are no free options. Okay. I did go through and made sure I did my own work.
Yeah.
So for our LGBTQ listeners and viewers out there, I did find 6 websites that you can visit right now. And these are, in no particular order, number 1, Indie Revolution, which was formerly No Folk. That's actually that's the first thing I Googled. Who claims to be the longest running queer site in porn history, which is amazing. Now they have everything. If you're looking for something, they have it. Number 2 is called Crash Bad Series. It's fairly new. It is inspired by a 2005 film called Crash Bad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is pretty good. It's all about indie stuff, mostly. If you have a little bit more kinks, go for
what
this
does it
one.
mean?
It's just, if you go to the website, it looks not my. It's a little bit more BDSM-y, I guess, is the term I'm looking for. Number 3 is Make Love Not Porn, which is totally on the ball. It's not about the down and dirty. It's more about the connections between people.
Okay.
I'm
curious. Are these all LGBTQ plus?
All of them.
Only.
Not only, but mostly that they focus on it. So,
because this one here, this Make Love Not Porn one,
yes,
that sounds really nice. Actually.
Yes, it does. And now their whole shtick is basically they look at actual real couples. So amateur porn, I guess, is the term.
No, but what I'm reading here is it's loving.
Yes, it's all about actual relations.
To me, that's important because a lot of the youth today, and I suppose this is where people have a fault with Pornhub.
Yeah,
is they go and they look at porn and then they see what they think sex is supposed to be like.
Oh yeah,
but it's not like that at all.
Yes,
that's why, like, I look at this and I'm like, that's awesome, but where am I going to find what I'm looking for?
Yeah, I get that, and that's why I see the allure of this. And as I went through, it seems like they do offer like
for everybody,
male to female relations as well. It's for everyone.
Okay.
And yeah, their whole thing is that the truthfulness of lovemaking.
That's nice,
and I do like that premise. It's a very nice premise. I'm getting goosies just talking about it because
that appeals to me in an extent.
Yes, it's not the.
It's not the taboo.
Just the pumping.
Yes, it's not just the.
Yeah, like,
now you're all like, what is he watching?
like psycho stuff.
Not quite, but
no. And then number 4 is literally queerporn.tv.
Yeah.
It's literally what it says on the tin. I believe that's the number 1 source. If you Google it, that's the one you'll get up top. Now, their whole thing is they have the kinkiest, the raunchiest, the filthiest. They essentially have the Pornhub.
So this
type.
is the opposite of the one we just spoke about.
This is literally what you'll get from Pornhub.
Okay.
Just on queer. This is focused on stuff. Then you have Lust Cinema, which is, I must say, this was quite an intriguing one to visit because it's that they have selections, okay, and it's all like classic movies and stuff, like things you'll see in your when you went to what was that DVD King? I guess the
what?
I forgot the store, the physical store we used to go to for videos and stuff.
Oh my
Mr.
gosh,
Video.
I can't. It's been so long since I've gone to a video shop.
I think it's Mr. Video or something.
You know what? It's so bad. I'm so Americanized.
Yeah.
All I can think of is Blockbuster, and we never had that in South Africa.
I think it was Mr. Video.
Are you sure?
I think so because
the fact that I can't
the
remember
message used to
so
work
bad.
At mine. So I think it's that. Anyway, so this is the kind of stuff you find on this.
Oh wow!
And
you just I can't remember.
We're showing our
Mr.
age
Video
now.
kind of sounds real.
I think,
but there was another one. I'm sure there was another one.
Mm.
Oh my gosh! If anyone who's South African can remember, please let us know.
Yeah, there were 2 big ones.
Yes, there was another one.
And then last is pinklabel.tv, which is pretty much similar to Lust Cinema, except they focus on indies. And they.
Oh no! Okay, but what does that mean exactly?
So indies is basically the
I mean,
low budgets movies.
But couldn't you just get amateur? I mean, wouldn't that be the same thing? Wouldn't amateur technically be indie?
No, because Erica Sins could be in an indie film, but she's still.
I see. Okay.
Triple A actress.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Okay. They focus specifically on the more lesser known stuff, and
Do you mean content wise?
yes, content wise.
So more niche.
Yes, that's pretty much indie equals niche. Yeah,
okay.
it's that
so
kind
more
of thing.
particular taste.
Not
Because
the
I'm still struggling. Okay.
taste. More like
Is this more like indie film studios?
that's exactly
Is
it.
that? Oh, I see. So it's okay. I can't even name any. Like I can name like Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
and
I can only think of game studios, which is sad.
Anyway, so it's not major porn-driven studios.
No,
it's like
it's-
the small indie and up-and-coming ones.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see.
And I just thought maybe our different folk out there. Who
Oh, but of
listens
course,
might
because
want
we
to
love
know.
everybody who listens.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter where you fall on the spectrum.
And in celebration of Pride Month, there's your NSFW segment because we tend to focus so much on the vagina. And
No,
the
not just that.
penis.
We're also very heteronormative
Yes, we are.
because we are.
Yes,
So
but
it stands to reason we perhaps don't speak enough about that. So
that's the thing.
this is our small contribution.
That's what I felt like.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's just something, even though it's an NSFW, even though it's a little bit raunchy, you might appreciate it. If you love us, you love this.
And as always, we will link below. If we're allowed to link to these things, we will.
We will
for the
be.
most part. But we'll have links below if you want to go and check them out.
Yes,
Okay?
by all means.
And get your pink kink on
Yeah.
for June.
For when your once a week is already done. Yeah.
And that's the end of NSFW.
Oh, that was the welcome song. It's because I didn't do the welcome. There we go.
I guess that's it. Welcome
Yeah.
to the end of Gettle 60, season 2, episode 18.
Yes.
Thank you, Ed. That was a lovely episode.
A nice discussy episode.
Well, that's the whole point. That's what we love to do,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and now that we're in person for I think our 3rd episode, I'm enjoying it so much more. I'm gonna be so sad to not see you again in the near future.
Oh, don't even mention that, man.
Yeah, so there's other things happening behind the scenes and that again, and of course I'm not going to be permanently in Johannesburg for
a while.
I mean, I'm going to be here for a while still.
Yeah.
But I won't. Eventually I'm going to go back to wherever it is that I'm going to go, which is for another time in the future.
Yeah.
And then that'll be sad because I'm loving the. It's so different to see you in person than it is to.
It is.
And I'd like to think that some of these episodes have just been so much better because we actually get to see each other in person.
I actually feel that the last 3 episodes were the best so
Me
far.
too,
Especially this one. Let's hope nothing goes wrong.
Oh my goodness, because we always have consistent issues.
Yes.
But again, those issues are because of Logitech, a company which you really like. But gosh damn, if your software is not breaking on Mac. Anyway.
Yeah, it's been good. It's honestly.
As always, we do have more stuff. If you watch the videos, you will always see some things in the backgrounds as per usual. We have more reviews coming up in the future. And of course, delicious content.
Yeah, as always.
So thank you so much for joining us for the 60th episode and the 18th finally legal episode of season 2. So be prepared for future episodes.
We have 2 18s now.
So with that in mind, thank you all so much for your continued support and for tuning in to another episode of Gettle. If you enjoyed, you know what to do. But until next week, ciao for now.
Bye.